a lot of people that are in the third positionist or alt-right or whatever they want to call themselves movement favor Germany, okay, and they've adopted, German everything, you know. What I want to point out is, as a martial artist, I want to point out the problem with this is the myth of German supremacy in terms of military combat. You see, the Germans were arrogant and over-engineered themselves to the point where they could not, they were out-engineered by the Soviets and other people that used more simplistic engineering methods to achieve greater numbers of military surplus, military vehicles, etc. But where I'm getting at here is hand-to-hand combat and hand-to-weapon combat. The Germans were arrogant because of their superior concepts of blitzkrieg and their superior concepts, like, for example, Rommel's concepts in how to, like in his book, When Infantry Attacks, or Infantry Attacks. He shows how to control towns and everything else and what have you. But where the Germans failed was in the brutality of hand-to-hand and hand-to-weapon combat. Actually, when you're left with no knife, no bayonet, no nothing, and you need to put the enemy down, this is where the British first excelled, okay, which is where we get Fairbairn and Sykes and Applegate and those folks who created what became Defendu. Okay, now this became the fighting method of the United States military and the fighting method of the Central Intelligence Agency, and to a degree the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and most U.S. tactical things. So this was an ideal system of combat. The Germans, not unfortunately, but the Germans did not embrace the need for this type of savage means of defending oneself in a life or death situation. Or not even defending oneself, attacking the enemy. And the thing is, if anybody knows older Marines or older combat veterans, such as my grandfather, one story I have, my father was a kook, and many years ago, I'm going back, I think 20 years, no, more than that, 30 years probably, I was probably 6 years old. My father had pulled a gun on my brother and me, and my grandfather happened to be over our apartment at the time. And my grandfather, who was a World War II, Korean War, and Vietnam veteran, basically just took the gun away from him. Boom, quick, took it away. This is something that a German soldier of that same era could not have done, because they did not have the understanding of how to do that, to take a weapon away, or things of that nature. This was what needs to be understood by people that want to take combat systems where they want to win in a street fight. Instead, what they do, instead of looking at things like Fairbairn and Sykes and Applegate, a lot of people are looking towards, I don't even know what to call it, like Krav Maga and other ladies' self-defense styles. But the thing is, with this Germanophilia, this has caused an idea, like the Germans had, an erroneous idea that we don't need to do anything to condition ourselves with physical culture. We don't need to do anything to condition ourselves to fight, because we're just so great. And that's why, in my opinion, certain groups of people are going to lose out in the United States, is because they are not taking into consideration the need to empower themselves with physical culture and with martial arts.